Finding sides of triangles using sine, cosine, and tangent. Remember, our phrase to help remember what sides to use is so, ka, toa. And it's okay to write down this stuff on a cheat sheet or to use your notes to remember what each of those are. So, number one, here's a right triangle. We're given the measure of one angle, one side, and then there is a missing side labeled x. Our goal is to find the missing side using sine, cosine, and tangent. So from the angle that we're given, we need to look at our information. I'm looking for the opposite side of the triangle, and I have the adjacent side. Opposite and adjacent suggests I use tangent. So tangent of 25 is equal to the opposite side, x, over the adjacent side, 10. Now, we're going to replace tangent 25 with its value off the table. So I go to my tangent table and find where the angle reads 25. I'm going to replace tangent 25 with the decimal 0.4663. So instead of tangent 25, I write 0.4663. Now I simply solve this equation for x. Since x is being divided by 10, I multiply both sides by 10. That cancels out, leaves me with x equals 10 times 0.4663. And that is 4.7. Now, we are going to round these angles to the nearest angle so that there's no decimals to enter into Moodle. So the answer would be 5, because 4.7 would round to 5. So the measure of side x is 5. Now, for number 2, I'm given this angle. I'm looking for this side, which is the adjacent side, and 7 is the hypotenuse. So I'm using adjacent and hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So cosine of 39 is equal to the adjacent side x over the hypotenuse 7. Again, I'm going to replace cosine of 39 with a decimal. So I go to my chart and look up cosine 39. There is the angle 39 degrees. The cosine of that would be 0.7772. So I'm going to replace cosine 39 with 0.7772. Now to solve this, I simply multiply both sides by 7. That will cancel out. And 7 times 0.7772 is 5.4. But we're going to round this to 5. So this side is 5. Now, for example 3, I'm given this angle is 40, the opposite side is x, and the hypotenuse is 19. So using opposite and hypotenuse, that would be sine opposite hypotenuse. So the sine of 40 should equal the opposite side x over the hypotenuse 19. Again, I'm going to look up and replace sine of 40 with a decimal. So on my sine table, I'm going to go to 40 degrees, which is 0.6428. So I'm going to replace sine of 40 with 0.6428. Now to solve this again, you're going to multiply both sides by 19. X is equal to 12.2. And we will round that to 12. So on these problems, you need to look at the triangle, using the angle, figure out which two sides are being used, and then choose the appropriate trig function, sine, cosine, or tangent. Then we simply replace the sine, cosine, or tangent with a decimal, and then solve for x. Today, when we solve, we'll always be multiplying by whatever x is being divided by. For example 4, we have this angle, the opposite side, and the adjacent side. Opposite and adjacent is tangent. So tangent 27 is equal to the opposite side x over the adjacent side 10. Now we look up and replace tangent 27 with a decimal. There's 27 degrees as an angle for tangent. I'm going to replace that with 0.5095. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by 10, giving me x equals 5.096, and we'll just round that to 5. For our last example, number 5, given this angle 72, this is the opposite side, this is the adjacent side. Opposite and adjacent suggests tangent. So tangent of 72 is equal to the opposite over the adjacent sides. I'm going to replace tangent 72 using the table. There is 72. I'll replace that with 3.0777. Now I simply multiply both sides by 20. And that is 61.54. We'll round that to 62.